Yay! Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings, everybody. How you doing? How you living? What's going on, my reading family? I hope that you all are doing fantastic, spectacular, phenomenal, fabulous, and all those wonderful adjectives that I love to say that I hope that you all are feeling, despite in spite of whatever it is that's going on that's negative. I'm always going to encourage you all, just like I have to encourage myself constantly. Trust and believe on paying attention to that silver lining, paying attention to that gold, right? At the end, of the rainbow type of mentality, right? Having that mentality of it's going to get better. This too shall pass, as our ancestors would say, right? This too shall pass. All right. So welcome. If this is your first time, thank you for joining me. This is the Sunday Read Aloud. Okay. This is the Sunday Read Aloud experience with me, Miss Sasha. I'm a literacy engagement artist. Yes. Okay. So I help to get our communities into reading. All right. So welcome. And as you all see on the screen, I am the founder and executive director of ABC Read, a nonprofit organization that I started over 10 years ago with our mission to develop and nurture a culture of literacy in our Black and our brown underserved communities. We do this by way of having reading experiences. We also distribute books throughout the community so that our families can be able to have their own home libraries. We also implemented book clubs for adults as well as for our youth. We're going to be embarking upon our fourth book that we're going to be reading. And that book actually is going to be the book that I co-authored. Yep. So we are going to get together and read this book here, Healed, Empowered, Resilient. That's right. It is going to be online. It's going to be, we have a max of 10 participants where we're going to come together. We're going to read this book. I have co-written this book with 9 amazing, beautiful women who have beautiful stories to tell about their adversities, their struggles, their trials and tribulations, and how they did not allow that to stunt their growth and stop them from getting to the other side. And it's not like we just made it and we're there and we're not still struggling. Everybody, you still living, you struggling with something. I don't care who you are. But this book is a helpful tool, a guide to share our stories, to be vulnerable, to be transparent as much as, we decided we wanted to be. And then we also gave tools and tips and ways to be able to overcome those different struggles. All right. So again, this is going to be our fourth book club. We're going to be reading this book here, inshallah. And we also have workshops as well, parent workshops. We've had 2 parent workshops. And I actually was able to facilitate my very first youth workshop. And this was for high school students. And I actually guided them in how to speak in front of elected officials. So I came up with a framework so that they can learn how to speak about community issues, so they can understand that they are problem solvers and they don't have to just say, we have these issues and be complainers and always talking about the problem and all of those things. I wanted them to understand that they have the abilities to create solutions. So with that being said, I try to get that mouthful in real quick before we get started. And now I'm ready to go into the book. This is a book that I have read a couple of times on my channel. I write during our Read Aloud Sundays. And what led me to coming back to this book is something that sparked my interest. There is something that's been going around. I don't know if you all heard of the platform EYL, Earn Your Leisure. Please say hello. Welcome to, by the way, if you are here already, I would love for you to put in the chat where you're from, who you are, so that I can know that we are in community together. That would be so helpful. I know I'm just going on as I'm trying to get all the information out. I'm used to kind of talking like that a lot of times because I know how, people attention span, right? People want to, you need to get that information really quickly. So I try to get everything in. And so I can also get to the read aloud. But what sparked my interest in reading this book is because of there's a viral clip that's been going around. One of the brothers from Earn Your Leisure, and they just had an event called Invest Fest. Some of you may be familiar with that. a great way for people to network and come together and learn about investing and building and entrepreneurship. And it's interesting. Apparently, the brother Rashad Bilal he had said that something along the lines of it wasn't really intended for, I guess it's not a black thing. That's what he said. It's not a black thing. This is for everybody, right? And a lot of people have been getting on him about it. Like, wait a minute, brother. When y'all started the platform, you did start under the premise of trying to educate the Black community in financial literacy and empowerment. Hey, what's up, CS James? Thank you. I love to see that. I love to see it. Hello from Kansas. That's what's up. Okay. And so I said, let me go ahead and bring out this book again, Teach Me About Malcolm, because as we know, Malcolm was raised under the banter of do for self, looking out for your people, empowering your people, liberation for your people. And it doesn't matter whether you got a whole bunch of money, and now that everybody knows who you are, I look at it like you should even get even more louder about the fact that, yes, we built this for our people, by our people, for our people, so that we can have the mentality of do for self, like our dear brother, our ancestor, El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, Malcolm X, which that mindset came from his parents, which his parents learned that from Marcus Garvey, which, by the way, Marcus Garvey's birthday is tomorrow. Okay. His parents were Garveyites. All right. And as we know about Marcus Garvey, he talked about freedom for our people, doing for self. Okay. And we have to have that mindset. And this is a mindset that we got to be unapologetic about. We can't say and get scared and be talking about, they ain't going to let us do that. And they ain't going to let us get too big. And we got to stop doing that. We have to stop doing that. We have to understand that for those of us who understand the power of God, because I know when I'm talking to my people, for real, we about that belief in one God. And we understand with God, all things are possible, right? And so we ain't got to be scared to say that when we're doing stuff for our folk, it's okay. All right. And those who understand what it means to be empowered, I don't care what color you are, your ethnicity, your nationality, you can't do nothing but respect it. If a group of people are talking about, yes, I want to do for self, I don't want to depend on nobody. I want to depend on no type of assistance. And there's nothing wrong with that if you need it. But again, the point is empowerment, being able to make your way and handling your business. There's nothing wrong with that. And I commend our people for doing that. All right. So with that being said, let's get on into it. I done went almost 10 minutes, but that's all right. If somebody's looking at the replay, they can fast forward. The story started 10 minutes, by almost 10 minutes. Here we go. I love this quote here. Teach Me About Malcolm by James Wilson Jr. Artwork by Idawu Abayomi or Abayomi. You have to learn how to see for yourself, hear for yourself, think for yourself, and then judge for yourself. Malcolm X. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I would love for others who are joining, please go ahead and put where you're from in the chat. I would love to see that this is a community space. And I would love for you, as our ancestors would say, our elders would say, announce yourself when you come into the room. Say hello, peace. I would love that. All right. Let's grow, y'all. Teach me about Malcolm X, dear teacher. Would you mind? That bold, brilliant Malcolm X was truly one of a kind. When Martin Luther King had a dream and went to the mountaintop, Malcolm X taught Black people the revolution was how to make our problems stop. He was born Malcolm Little to Earl and Louise in 1925. Omaha, Nebraska would be the place where baby Malcolm would arrive. While Malcolm was a boy, he would learn about Marcus Garvey. Mr. Garvey was a mighty man who fought to make all African people free. Malcolm's parents were great helpers in Marcus Garvey's organization. It was named the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Malcolm would use Garvey's lessons later in life when he would lead a movement of his own. But things would happen first in Malcolm's life that shook him to the bone. Earl Little, Malcolm's father, was killed while Malcolm was a child. This brought great grief to the Little family and made it hard for them to smile. After his father's death, Louise Little, Malcolm's mother, became sick. Her children were put into foster care as Malcolm's family split. Poor young Malcolm, times for him had really become sad. But through it all, Malcolm learned that everything was not all bad. Malcolm was a great student, one of the smartest in his class. Malcolm learned from reading, writing, and the many questions he would ask. Why, wouldn't you know, Malcolm had some most eventful times. He tried boxing and moved with his sister, but would turn to a life of crime. Malcolm got in trouble and went to prison while he was just a young man. This would be the place where Malcolm's old ways died and his new life soon began. Malcolm learned every word in the dictionary, which was quite amazing. This helped Malcolm learn faster and become better at communicating. While Malcolm spent time behind the prison walls, something very special came from it. This would be when Malcolm would accept the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Leader of the Nation of Islam, whose followers called him the messenger. Elijah Muhammad sought to build a nation, and Malcolm would soon be his helper. Elijah Muhammad gave Malcolm his newfound religious faith called Islam. Those who practice Islam are called Muslims, and their book of scriptures is the Holy Quran. Elijah's teachings taught Malcolm discipline. Do you know what that means? It means doing the right thing even when no one is looking. Mr. Muhammad taught Malcolm that his name was an enslaved name. The names we have today were forced on our ancestors. What a shame. 'Twas then Malcolm abandoned the last name given to him at birth. He replaced Little with the X and redeemed some self-worth. Malcolm X changed his name again after his prison time would pass. In the Muslim world, Malcolm used the name Malik el-Shabazz. After Malcolm X left prison, he became a powerful speaker. As Elijah Muhammad's minister, he would spread the messages of his teacher. Malcolm X helped Elijah grow the Nation of Islam, a most thrilling Black group. The Nation of Islam was made up of Black Muslims and their protectors called the Fruit. Malcolm X started a newspaper for the Nation of Islam called Muhammad Speaks. The paper helped the Nation of Islam gain new members and spread Elijah's reach. With Elijah Muhammad's teachings, Malcolm X brought healing to the Black woman and man. He turned Black people away from drugs and alcohol, making them well again. Malcolm X preached to never eat meat from the hog. Elijah Muhammad taught Malcolm that the pig was part rat, cat, and dog. Malcolm X taught us to call fellow Black people sisters and brothers. He showed us that we were one African family and that we must love one another. Elijah Muhammad sent Malcolm X overseas to spread goodwill from the nation of Islam. Malcolm traveled from the Middle East to Africa as he brought peace and calm. The world was a scary place for Black people when Malcolm was alive. White people made it hard for Black people everywhere to live in peace and strive. Bad things were happening to Black people in America and around the world. White men of the KKK once bombed a church, killing 4 little Black girls. White police officers beat Black people with nightsticks and let their police dogs chew us up. White firefighters turned their hoses on Black women and children as some walked to catch the bus. Malcolm X knew that these bad things would continue to happen until we faced our enemy. Malcolm X believed in an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Don't turn the other cheek. Brother Malcolm won the hearts and minds of Black people from the words that he would say. Malcolm X was especially admired by the great boxer Cassius Clay. Cassius loved Malcolm X's speeches. Why, he most certainly agreed. So he joined the Nation of Islam and changed his name to Muhammad Ali. During this time, Malcolm X would see more somber days. Malcolm would disagree with Elijah Muhammad and would go on his separate way. Malcolm X was hurt. Elijah Muhammad was like his father. But Malcolm knew that distractions on his journey could not become a bother. Malcolm was on a serious mission to make sure all Black people were treated right. He took a trip back to Africa to tell our family about our plight. Malcolm was uniting African people in different places in front of the world to see. Malcolm was going back to the lessons that he learned about Marcus Garvey. Just like Garvey, Malcolm called on the help of African people around the planet to make Africa strong so that we would never again be taken for granted. Our people in Africa loved Malcolm X. They gave him much praise. Malcolm X was so loved in Africa that they gave him a new name. Omawali would be the new name that Malcolm X would earn. Omawali means the long-lost African son who has finally returned. Malcolm X came back to the United States and started a new group. It was named the Organization of Afro-American Unity, or the OAAU. But one sad day would bring Malcolm's journey to an end. On February 21st, 1965, Malcolm was killed in front of his family and friends. Even though Malcolm's life on earth was over, his work continued to move forward. His deeds gave birth to new leaders and thinkers. On to freedom, they moved toward. The Black Panther Party was formed a year after Malcolm X was killed. The founders, inspired by Malcolm X, were Huey Newton and Bobby Seale. Malcolm X even taught the current leader of the Nation of Islam. This man marched 1 million Black men to DC. His name is Louis Farrakhan. Malcolm X was our hero, a real diamond in the rough. Malcolm X helped Black people find courage, even when the times were tough. Dear Black boys and girls, Malcolm's life was an example just for you. Malcolm used his mind to change the world, which means that you can too. So the next time you hear Brother Malcolm's name, make sure you stop and smile, because Malcolm X gave his life to free every Black man, woman, and child. The end. All right. And the timeline is in the back of the book there. All right. And yep, I love that. Got the bibliography page, especially for my young folks. You know, that's the page where it gives the books where the author did the research to write this book. I think sometimes it's called the works cited page as well. That's another name for it. And here's another quote by him. He said, "We are African and we happen to be in America. We are not American." Malcolm X. Woo! Now, you know he was bold unapologetically. Okay, he didn't play. And I love this picture in the back here showing his mother and father. Yes, indeed, y'all. All right. So, of course, I know for those of you who are regulars here, I know you've heard this story multiple times, but remember, there's always great beauty and a necessity in rereading. Just because you've read a book once, actually, I would highly recommend and suggest you go back and read it again and again, because that's when you really are able to capture and grasp a lot of different information, jewels and nuggets in the particular book. All right. It really sticks when you are reading it again. So when your baby is saying, "Can you read that story again? Can you read that again?" I know you may be thinking, "Oh man, I just read the story. I just read the story," but it's actually sticking. Okay. There's something obviously where that child is resonating to that story. Okay. So with that being said, I am going to share the Kahoot. Those of you who are new here, I create what is called a Kahoot game, which is a way to gamify our read aloud. So it's a fun way to see if you guys were paying attention, you understood the story. It's a friendly competition. You go to kahoot.it to participate. So I see there are 4 of you guys who are still here and listening to the read aloud. So I hope that you will join the game. All right. I hope that you guys will do that. So let's see here. Yeah. All right. There we go. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I got to do it like that. I'm going to click start. The game pin is going to come up, and then you are going to put the game pin in your phone so that you can play. I'm going to put it in the chat. This is for all ages, y'all. So for my grown folks in here, if you're like, I ain't trying to play no game, that's for little. No, it's not. It's for anybody. Okay. I'm such a competitive person though. So when somebody says game to me, I like jump all in. I don't care. What's going on? Yes, this is pretty CSJ. My regulars. Yes, I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all are part of the Read Aloud Sunday Club. Okay, I think I need to get some t-shirts. What y'all think? I was thinking about that. I said, I need to get some shirts that represent who we are, what we do. You know what I'm saying? Would y'all rock them shirts? I got some shirts. We need some hoodies, some shirt, hoodie, cap to represent. Because we got to make this popular, okay? We need to make sure that folks who aren't regulars, they are hearing about these Sunday read alouds, because this is beneficial, y'all, for real. You do. Thank you. I'm glad. I appreciate you giving me that feedback. Okay. All right. It's on. It's on. I like that. Thank you. Thank you. Yay. What's up, TJ? Holla, holla. Thank you for joining. I hope y'all were able to hear the whole story. You know, the questions, I try to make them pretty, simple. I may throw a little, little tricky ones in there. But I try to just keep it real on a basic level, because I know we have all ages that are participating. All right. So yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. I see 3 people in here, 4 watching, and I'm just going to go ahead and get ready to get us started right now. Okay, let's see. Let's start. And bam. Here we go. I know y'all got this. Don't even play. I know y'all got it. What's his birth name? Uh-oh. Okay. Yup. It was Little. Yes, that was his birth name. Malcolm Little. Parents Earl Little and Louise Little. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's see who was able to get that. All right. CSJ, TJ, Princess Pretty. That's all right. Now you know Princess Pretty, right? So you're gonna be good moving forward. Yes, indeed. All right, here we go. All right. Now, this man's name was said a few times in this book. Right? Everybody good. I see 2 people answered. Okay. All right. Yes. Marcus Garvey, right? Martin Luther King Jr. Yes, he was mentioned. Yes. But when he talked about that he wanted all Black people to be free, he mentioned in particular, he talked about Marcus Garvey. All right. Let's see. Let me show you guys. Okay. All right. Cool. Love it. Here we go. Why did Malcolm and his siblings have to foster care? Thank you. Oh, y'all got that right. Y'all got that right quick too. They stopped that music real quick. Go ahead, y'all. Y'all wasn't playing. Woo, here we go. Yes, yes, indeed. All right, got that answer streak. We see you, CS James. And TJ and Princess Pretty is on the scoreboard. You know, I love it when all my participants are answering the questions. I love it. Okay. Yeah, he was a good student. Yes, yes, definitely talked about that. Yeah, Malcolm was a really good student in school. Yeah, he had actually they had voted him class president when he was in school. Yep. And this was a classroom that it was pretty much like all white, students. Yes, yes. All right. Look at this, you guys. Woo! Y'all doing it. Yay! All right. It makes me happy. I love it. I love you guys are getting it. Yay. Y'all are doing so great. Phenomenal. Okay, let's go to our next question. All right. Remember when he was in jail, what was the religion he came to? Right. Yep. So one of you got it correct. The Nation of Islam. That's what it is called. Yep. So that's what he had got to. Okay. All right. Here we go. Yeah, all right. Okay. All right. Cool. Two of you guys got that one correct. That's right. Yes, indeed. Yes, yes. Yep. He's doing everything he could to really change his life around. Yep. That was very important to him. You guys remember that newspaper? Hey, yeah, you got that right. Yeah, Muhammad Speaks. Yep. And it was named, after Elijah Muhammad. So that's why they, wanted to name it Muhammad Speaks. Yep. Very good. Very good. Okay. All right. Keep on going. Even if you're not getting the answer correct, it doesn't matter. You're still learning. That's my motto. That doesn't matter. You're learning. Yay, that's right. Yep, exactly. All right, everybody got that one. Woo! Go ahead with that answer streak. Go ahead, CS James, and everybody else is answering as well, doing a great job. Right. Yes. Yes, they disagreed. Yep. That was the reason. Let's see here. Good, good. All right. Woo. Got a couple more, y'all. Couple more. All right. I figured everybody would get that one right. That was definitely something that was a no-brainer, right? Let's see. Yay. Look at this. Woo. And then we got our last one. Last one. All right. All right. I knew y'all was gonna get that big. Y'all got that quick. Of course you did. Of course. Of course you did. Here we go. And yay. All right. Congratulations, everybody, for participating once again. Once again, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you so much for spending your Sunday evening with me and with each other, right? You guys are in community. You guys are like regulars. I feel like I know you. I haven't even seen you guys. I feel like you guys have seen me. I haven't seen you all. But I am just so happy that you all are here once again. I'm glad that you value literacy. I'm glad that you believe in reading, believe that reading is something that we need and is something that we must do consistently. And it's a beautiful thing for us to be together in community and learning together. So, once again, I appreciate all of you for joining. And I hope that you guys take this consistency that I'm intentional about showing you guys every Sunday, and you're implementing it in your own homes with your own families. Yeah, thank you so much. I love when you are celebrating and congratulating everybody. C.S. James, that is a beautiful thing. That's how we should be in community. That's what keeps us going, keeps us coming back. I will see you guys next week. New book, new Kahoot, same time, same station, you all. And remember to please keep reading for at least 30 minutes a day. And remember, reading is freedom, just like the mug says. All right. Peace.